Warning, the Noob and Froob show is rated NC-17 for adult language, adult content, strong sexual references, and psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. Opinions expressed on the Noob and Froob show does not reflect those of Jagex Ltd. RuneScape.com is a trademark of Jagex Ltd. and is not affiliated with the Noob and Froob show.
Yes, thank you very much for tuning in to another amazing edition of the Noob and Froob show. I am IR Matthew, and as usual, I am joined by the lovely, the wonderful Satya Vista, aka That Bear.
Hi, I love you.
All right. Now, let's tell the good folks at home how they can get in touch with us. You can leave a comment right here on this video. You can tweet Satya at ThatBearS. You can message her at ThatBearS on Facebook. You can leave a comment on that page as well. If you are listening on AEM radio, you can leave, a comment on there. And, oh God. And, yeah, so you can leave a comment on there if you're listening that way. We'll try to answer your question as soon as possible. And finally, I will be in the clan chat if you'd like to ask a question there. You are, of course, welcome to guest in the clan chat as well. Don't need to be a clan member. And I believe that's about it.
Thank you.
Yep.
So let us get into the news. We'll start out with behind the scenes video 109 for the Legacy Mode beta. Just some information coming out a little bit ahead of time for the beta that came out this following week. And, you know, I've barely had a chance to test it out, but I can say I'm not overall impressed with the Legacy Mode beta. It kind of gives you the retro feel of pre-EOC, but most of the EOC mechanics are still in there. You know, they're supposed to be working with the players on changing some of the way the strength bonuses works and things like that. Overall, the special attacks are back. I don't feel like special attacks are any better than the abilities. And yeah, it's pretty much just the look and the feel of pre-EOC. I'm not overall impressed with it. What about you, Matt?
Nor am I. I also tried it. I was at the Godwars dungeon in my game when I loaded it. And on there just to, like, you know, even though I knew it was going to count toward the live game, I said I was going to continue my Slayer task on Legacy Beta. And, yeah, I felt naked without my ability bar.
Yeah.
And it was just not... Because I remember when I first started playing RuneScape, it was before EOC. It was almost 3 years ago now. And I can safely say that I do not miss it. I got poisoned and it was actually doing damage to me, and I was like, "What sorcery is this?" And yeah. So no, I'm not pleased with it either.
No, to me, the overall look is there, like the layout, and that kind of annoys me. When I got on there to play it, and the layout was the standard pre-EOC layout with all the different windows you have to click through, and it really made me appreciate the current interface system that we have and how much, I won't say easier, but more streamlined it is to get from one place to the other with a couple mouse clicks. So, if anything, the Legacy Beta just made me appreciate what we have now even more. So, there's still a lot of hype behind this, like how it's going to work with player versus player, but trying out player versus player with abilities versus the special attacks, what the people that are using Legacy don't have that, you know, that we do, is their complete lack of defense abilities, and that really can make or break a fight. So I feel like this is just a big flop. And that may be just me being biased because I do appreciate the EOC so much, but it is nowhere close to being pre-EOC RuneScape.
No, and again, it's not just the PvP situation. In PvM situations, people who have EOC will be doing more damage. Possibly, you know, like when you're bossing, and also if you're in like a certain area doing Slayer, I can guarantee you, if it's in a place like Water Fiends, people who have EOC enabled are going to be going around and poning the shit out of the Slayer monsters because they have abilities that do stuns and bleeds and things like
Right.
that, whereas these legacy people are just going to be, hitting it or shooting at it or what have you, and that's not
Yeah.
going to work for them. They're not going to be able to kill things as quickly. So in the end, the people who are doing legacy are going to start whining and crying because they don't have what we have, and
Mhm.
this seems like a pattern with this game.
Right. And when it comes down to some of the high-level bosses like Virago and the Calfight King, they're completely impossible to do with Legacy. And,
Yeah.
if bosses are going to be going up from where we are now and things are just going to be harder and harder, you can imagine, it's going to be even more impossible with Legacy mode. So
Absolutely.
I feel like Legacy mode is like RuneScape for, like, ultimate noobs. It's
Yeah.
completely that. But once you get to a certain point in the game at a high level, you definitely should consider going to ability mode, to EOC, as some people call it. So
Yes.
that would be the only purpose I could see behind Legacy mode, is like a beginner sort of thing, and ease them slowly into abilities once they get,
Right.
to max combat or up there. So
Because
anyway, the
again,
next update. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. If because again,
We
if you
already.
because again, once you get to the higher level shit, that's when you're going to have
Mhm.
to start having problems if you're still using legacy mode when it comes to PvP, when it comes to high level bossing. That's when you're going to have to start to have the problems. So that suggestion on your part was very good.
Here's an interesting tweet. Somebody said Legacy mode would be perfect if they just got rid of EOC.
Um, how's about no? How's
Anyway,
about
let's
no?
go on with the news. We got a treasure hunter update. Yippee. This is the gemstone golem outfits. Unlock a treasure hunter chest between the 19th and the 24th to win sapphire, emerald, ruby golem outfits, or combine them to create the amazing color-changing magic golem outfit. Day 1 will be sapphire, day 2 emerald, day 3 ruby, and day 4 and 5 will be all colors. Don your gemstone golem outfit to be transformed into a hulking rock beast with a gemstone heart. What these pretty much do is they boost your mining XP by 5%, 7% if you have all of them combined, and they stack with the quarry master aura and also the rock plate there. If you do have the magic one that has all of those, it's probably the most useful, but it actually stops the aggression from living rock creatures, so you can go down there safely and do your thing without being attacked.
Yes.
Yay. All right.
What
Next.
what is
Uh-huh.
this? The golem and the amazing Technicolor rock coat. Uh,
Yeah, it's very tacky.
no one's gonna get that joke.
There was a podcast that we listened to just right before the show
We
on the
did.
Elf City Design Document Part 5, where they go through some of the changes. I quickly wrote down just about everything they mentioned. For the Hyphen clan, that's the agility course area, and before in the design document, when you completed the agility course, some of the rewards from it were medium and large lamps. They have decided those will not be available from completing the course, but the small lamps will still be there, as well as the bonus XP. In the Meleeer side, this is the dungeoneering area. They were talking about the level 95 dungeoneering resource dungeon, was a little lackluster compared to the 115, as it should be. But here's what they're going to do to hopefully try to fix that situation. The level 95 dungeoneering resource dungeon will unlock a Garaggio, which will appear both here and in the Daemonheim camp. The Garaggio will offer the player one card each a day, like a clue scroll. The player will not be able to own more than one card at a time. Now, these cards can be taken into a dungeoneering floor when they will be used up, giving the players a benefit for that dungeon. Example of these ability cards might include some of the following. Far more likely for Slayer creatures to spawn, so if you're hunting like a Hex Hunter bow or a Doomcore staff, that'd be good for you. Players can activate guide mode without an XP forfeit. Double damage on dungeoneering bosses. You can open all skill doors regardless of your level. Completing a floor gives you an extra sinkhole ticket, double dungeoneering tokens, double dungeoneering XP from that floor, double skill XP from the floor. So those seem pretty useful. Let's move on. Various divine locations will appear randomly in the level 95 resource dungeon. A player can gather from just one of these locations until exhaust per day without contributing to your player resource limit. So you could be in that dungeon and maybe a divine location spawn. You can siphon it up to 100%, and it doesn't count, of course, against the ones that are player made. The Runite rocks will be removed from the level 95 dungeon resource dungeon. That's so redundant, since Runite rocks are already offered in other resource dungeon and within the Elf City itself. As a note, future updates are planned that will offer resource dungeons between the levels of 95 and 115, not in the Elf City. So they are going to have more resource dungeons, and that was one of the big pet peeves with the dungeoneering areas. There's such a huge
Yes.
gap between 95 and 115, but there are stuff coming for the people that are in between those. The frost dragons will be removed from the level 115 dungeoneering resource dungeon since their proximity to a bank chest has been questioned. And this was my big pet peeve in the last show when I read that they were going to put frost dragons next to a bank box. That was so retarded. They will be replaced with a new Slayer creature, which is always good. These things are going to be called the Stalkers. These will range from combat level 150 to 180 and will be similar to the Slayer Stalkers and World Gorgers. The Stalkers will be added as a Slayer task to Moravon and Curadel, and will drop, if you don't know who Moravon was, he's going to be the, 90 plus Slayer Master in the Elf City.
Yes.
And these will drop items that are useful specifically in Elf City as well. More rarely, they will also drop the Dungeoneering cards. It was not clear in the design document about how the Motherlode shards would work. The Motherlode shards are gained from the summer promotion. That's the ones you get from the crystal necklace. What they're going to do is an NPC in the Elf City or outside of the resource dungeon will exchange 10 Motherlode shards for one free go on the Motherlode rock. The player will not have access to the 115 dungeon to spend their Motherlode shards at this time. The NPC will act as a Motherlode rock for Motherlode shards and will give the player the item. There may be small changes to the Motherlode drop table for those who just use the shards. So hopefully no confusion about that. Juju potions will still be tradable, but they will have a herb lore requirement if you want to drink them. The herb lore requirement is the same as the level required to make them. This means that high-level players can purchase large quantities of Juju potions if they want to make perfect potions, while low-level players will not have access to them. Juju Herblore potions will no longer be an ingredient for perfect potions. The other Juju potions will remain as an ingredient, however. This is because the Juju Herblore potion is more widely used than the Juju potions. That's pretty confusing, but hopefully you kept up with that. The perfect mining potion will have a chance of giving you noted ore as the tier you are mining, rather than just simply giving you coal. Remember last week I said that's kind of like a slap in the face. You're mining rune and then you get coal. I don't know how they thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. A perfect prayer potion will not increase the XP gained from a gilded altar, so they nerfed that one. To clarify, crystal flax will be tradable, same as other flasks. Depending on the time, a player will be able to decant crystal flask potions in a manner that will allow them to be used in combination potions. Wildfire potion and burning potions will be added to the 20 combination potions, taking us up to 22 in total. These are the ranged and magic equivalents of the Berserker potion, now renamed Firestorm potion, and will be a combination of extreme magic, extreme ranged, and defense, and they will require level 91 herb lore to make. We're aware that some combination potions will have effects that carry two different durations. For example, the Overload Anti-Fire, which will have a 5-minute overload duration and a 10-minute anti-fire duration. Rather than nerf the anti-fire duration to bring it in line with the overload duration, we're going to leave it as is. It will be up to you to decide whether or not you want to take another sip from your overload anti-fire. So any confusion about that, you're going to have a potion. The anti-fire is going to work for 10 minutes. The overload is
Right.
going to work for 5. So it might be smart to bring just a plain overload flask with you. Just a suggestion. The Perfect Plus potion will give all the combined abilities of the Perfect potions, not the combination potions. The chance of finding a combination potion recipe in Dungeoneering will increase depending on the player's combined Herblore and Dungeoneering levels. This chance will increase sharply if the player has max levels, and there will be a cupboard added to the Herblore shop in the Elf City where you can store some of your Perfect potions. That's a lot of stuff, but yes. That is the gist of the podcast. That was mostly 90% of them laughing and
Yes,
not
and
making any sense.
and talking about like random shit as usual. By the way, are there going to be any Indians in this cupboard?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know how many
What?
people
What?
are watching this show right
I
now? Like, have
fucking
even read that book?
I fucking love that book and I fucking love that movie.
You're
Don't
aging
judge me.
us significantly.
Don't judge me. Little bear. Anyway,
Oh dear.
back to the show.
Yeah, let's move on. There was another behind the scenes video, and this is 110 skill chompas and the authenticator. Of course, we've heard about the skill chompas before. You pretty much hunch in chompas, and they aid you in skilling. You throw them at the resource, and you get resources back in your inventory. It's pretty much cut and dry. What I thought was pretty exciting about this behind the scenes video was the authenticator. Now, you know, in World of Warcraft, you can actually buy a little USB thing that you plug into your computer. You can't log into World of Warcraft without that USB. It's a great idea. It's wonderful. Is RuneScape doing this? Not quite. The authenticator is really more of an SMS security than, you know, a separate technology. But anyway, here's how this is going to work. It's going to go hand in hand with your JAG. You'll have to get a specific code sent to your cell phone, etc., before you can change computers. But here's the shitty thing about their authenticator is that the whole thing can be reset via email. So what's going to happen if the hacker steals your email, goes in, resets your authenticator? Is it going to do you any good?
No.
No. It's just one of those false senses of security. Now, granted, with like Gmail, for instance, you got your own SMS, and it can't be reset unless you check your cell phone. But I don't feel like everybody's that smart.
Right.
But it's an extra step. It's not a horrible idea. It's not quite what I wanted. I really was hoping they'd come out with a little USB, but
yeah, because really,
yeah.
World of Warcraft really took it to the next level as far as security goes whenever they did
really
that.
set the bar with that. So.
And I never really got much into World of Warcraft myself, but my cousins did, and they still use their authenticator even now, after all these years. And that's the thing, World of Warcraft has had that out for years.
Yes, it's been around as long as I can remember. So I really wish they would do something like that, make it into like a cute little charm necklace, and I'd wear it around and feel cute.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not gonna happen. Oh well. Anyway, so that's the behind the scenes video about that. And now there's a list of Legacy Mode beta updates. So it's been out for about a week now, and they've already got a lot of player feedback about what's going to happen. Here's the updates that went live so far. There's now a Legacy-only beta world, and that's World 211, so if you don't want to hang out with the EOC people, you got your own special world. Monster aggression has been turned off. We'll look at alternatives in the future. Wilderness combat levels will now be displayed 126 plus 12 format. So that kind of shows like their actual combat skills, and the plus 12 would represent their summoning skill, which if you're not using a summoning familiar, it's not really going to help you in the wilderness. This is experimental, so we'll certainly need your feedback. Like when this was out pre-EOC, the plus 12 thing, I didn't find it really that useful anyway. It was just, I don't know. Recent armor tier changes have been reverted. I didn't get to play the beta before they actually reverted this, so I don't know what the tiers looked like before. How much different than it was now, so I've missed out on that. So if anybody got to play it before they changed the armor back, I'd like to hear from you. A chat box transparency can now be customized in Legacy mode. They shouldn't do that. If people want the old interface, it shouldn't be customizable. Sorry.
Right, like personally, I logged into Legacy and I was like, "What the fuck? Where's my interface?" And
yeah,
some people enjoy the old interface, so really don't.
I don't think it's a
mess with
matter
what
of
they
that they
want.
enjoy it. I think it's a matter of it's just what they're used to. Like people are afraid to try the new things, afraid to learn new things, and they don't want to get used to things. The old interface system was terrible.
It was, but evidently some people like terrible.
Well, here's the thing: if you don't like the interface system now, if you think the interface system now is terrible, it's because you suck at customizing. It's not Jagex's fault. You get the bullshit where you want it. If you wanted it the old way, you could put it that way. It's just you obviously don't know what you're doing. There's a number of bugs that have been fixed. The Granite Maw special can no longer be stacked in a series of rapid uses. Special attacks are no longer delayed until after the next auto attack. The dungeoneering ending interface now fits on screen. Special attack energy now regenerates correctly. Improved Excalibur's passive heal function has been removed. So apparently with the Excalibur, you could use the special to heal, and then it would still have the passive. So they got rid of the passive part of that. Private chat is no longer duplicated in the main chat. Eating food no longer drains special attack energy. The Dragon Battle Axe special now boosts strength. Potions can now be drunk below their herblore requirements by boosting the stat. Certain combinations of gear no longer give excessive defensive bonuses in all styles. The strength and shared XP buttons have returned to their rightful places. Timing of special attack animations is now correct. Here's some things that will be coming up hopefully in the next week or two. Create alternative set of old icons for prayers and curses for Legacy. Such a waste of time. EOC prayer and curse icons will be improved, particularly soul splits. Yeah, some of the icons are a little cartoony, so maybe get on that. Fix any remaining bugs, including lag experience, delayed hit marks, unreliable auto retaliate, adrenaline potions, and always returning special attack energy. Here's some things that have been heavily suggested that they are just not going to do. They are not going to do these. Stop asking, pretty much. 100% protection prayers. Pre-EOC, you could throw up protect from melee. That would protect you from all melee. Not going to happen again. And I've kind of, it kind of irked me because it felt like it devalued prayer, but I'm kind of used to it now, and I know how to use my defense abilities, so it doesn't really bother me. Pre-EOC stats on gear. The old quest log side interface was just annoying and stupid. Why people on this bag, I don't know. The removal of summoning and high-level potions from the wilderness. They tried this a while ago when overloads came out. They tried to ban overloads from the wilderness, and they did for a long time, and summoning from the wilderness. But people work hard to get these things, and if they want to do PvP and they worked hard to get overloads and steal titans, why should they not be allowed to use them just because you don't want to? You know what I mean? Thank you.
Preach it.
Right, so, they're still open to suggestions, so head over to the Legacy Mode forums, give them your P's and Q's and your 2 cents, and they may listen to you, or they may not, but it is what it is.
More than likely they won't, to be fair.
So, what is the poll for this week? I know there's only one poll.
Yes, there is only one poll, and it has to do with, drum roll please.
It's a delayed drum roll.
Oh.
There you go.
Hold up. It has to do with the Third Age armor rework. The Ninja team has received many suggestions to update the Third Age armor sets, but we feel that many players may be attached to the existing look. Would you like this equipment to receive a graphical rework? Currently, yes, graphically rework it is winning by 61%.
I know it's not a huge margin.
Right, and
like
no, do not change it is losing at 38%, and as usual for these polls, which I'm very confused as to why they do this, 70% is required to pass for either of these things.
Yeah, so nothing's going to happen. It's kind of like a double-edged sword when it comes to Third Age armor. It's one of the few armors in the game that pretty much remains the same as it was before all the armor updates, and it's quite hideous to look at it. Like, it's not attractive armor. The stats are horrible. It has no use other than to show wealth. And the thing about the showing wealth is it's crashed so much in price because of some of the stuff in the elite clues. It's just kind of like people forget that it's even there, and I just feel like updating it is a waste of development time. Like, it's not that important, and we should just let it die out as it is. But then again, like I said, it's terribly ugly. Terribly.
Yes. Mod Raven needs to work on old code that he's dreading, not this.
Yes, and about the old code that he's referring to, it's about decanting the crystal flask back into vials, and he just loathes the idea of having to work on code that's so old.
It's your job. Stop complaining and do it.
Exactly. So, yeah. I voted for no, not to change it, just because my thoughts is, how much development time is it going to take to design and like execute that when they could be doing more important things.
I also voted no, but to be fair, it's because I just voted something because I had no idea what was going on. So.
That is what you do. Apparently, there's no patch notes this week, is there?
No, they're not. Which is I don't know why. I guess they were too busy working on Elf City shit to do patch notes. But in any case, they were not on the forum. And I checked. Well, first I went to our clan Facebook because someone usually posts it there. It wasn't there. I checked the forum. So no patch notes this week.
Right. And the whole thing with Elf City is just going to get worse. Now the design documents are over, and it's like, so that's the end of it until the quest comes. No, they're going to start doing like behind the scenes actual videos now. So we'll have to deal with that crap.
When they could be doing behind the scenes on other stuff, which it's like, oh, maybe they might put out 2 behind the scenes. No.
So let's head on over to the developers blog, and we know that old school RuneScape has their Slayer boss, and finally, RuneScape 3, the important live game, I should say, is going to have their own as well. And this idea has been around for a while, but just not executed. They're currently in the design stage of the boss Slayer, and it's already looking pretty juicy. That's from Maud Ryan. To keep you in the loop with what we're doing, we thought we'd shed some light. First off, the all-important question, what is the Boss Slayer? So Boss Slayer is a brand new system, entirely separate from the current Slayer, with challenges you each day. So we're not actually getting a new Slayer boss. They're recycling our old bosses and making them into Slayer bosses.
Snore.
So, that's good for XP, but I really like just an all-new Slayer boss. So we're looking at this to come out sometime the end of this year or in the next 10 years. Pretty excited for that. I'll be like 40.
Shh.
But anyway, does anybody know what time it is?
I do want to say something really quick. Brack, or Game Group in our clan, was talking in our clan chat earlier. Mm-hmm. And he was like, so when is the Elf City supposed to release and the quests and all that? And I was like, 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, 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 random numbers, parsecs from now. Like, as in, we don't fucking know.
Well, the month they've given us November as, D-Day, but...
No.
Yeah, we honestly, nobody knows.
And the frustrating part is that they talk so much about it so much in advance. Mm-hmm. So when it comes November and it doesn't come out, people are going to be frustrated because they've just made them so excited for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, now, does anybody know what time it is?
Tea time.
It's time for Matt's commercial break! Take it away, Matthew.
Hello. I am I.R. Matthew from the N00b and Fr00b show. You might know me for my extreme noobiness, tendency to lose track of what I'm thinking, go off into La La Land, and make random jokes that only Satya understands. Now, actually today I'm here to tell you about something else, something different, something wonderful. I'm here to tell you about the Barbarians clan. It is a wonderful clan. We don't require you to really have any levels or anything. We don't require you to have tons of GP. We don't require you to be good at PvM, PvP, etc. We just want to have you in our clan because we're nice people and we want more nice people in our clan. So yeah, we have a tier 6 citadel. Again, our clan is very friendly, very helpful. No judgment on what level you are, etc. It's one of the most unique clans in the game. So just join our clan chat or PM me in game, IR Matthew. We can help you out, get you sorted into a good clan that you'll enjoy.
That was Probably one of the best commercials you've ever done in your entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed with myself. Good. I'm happy you enjoyed it.
So here's a suggestion from the forums. I just magically came across this. Horizon Log wants to know why we haven't made this yet. And here's what he wants to suggest. Using food on others so they don't die.
Bro.
Here's how I can envision that working for me. I decide, I'm going to solo the Cow Fight King, and I'm going to make Matt sit and wait outside, and I'm going to yell at him on raid call to run down and feed me when I'm about to die, and I'll just be able to stand there forever. And you could pay noobs to do this, so you could save more inventory space with, other stuff you need. It's like having your own, pack yak, hiring a noob to feed you. It's a brilliant idea if you think about it. Find some uses for these useless noobs.
And I can understand where this person is coming from. They see that, or they know that you can use food on others in dungeoneering.
Co-op Slayer. There's medic classes and a lot of other MMORPGs that can do things like that. We do have the heal other spell, and I feel like that's just as efficient. But like I said, there's a whole lot of complications with doing that. Like people like me taking advantage of people like Matt would be absolutely horrible.
As if you already don't.
Just think if you had a whole clan of people full of food, how long you could stay somewhere if you paid them all.
Right. Shit.
You can't do that on RuneScape. We're evil people.
That can't. No, just can't.
So, yeah. I mean, in theory, it's not a horrible idea, but in RuneScape, I just don't think I don't think we can do that in this game, just because of the type of players we are.
In practice, it'll be exploited.
Yes. Anyway, so let's get into some Reddits, why don't we?
Why don't we? All right. First of all, somebody got the Magic Golem outfit and decided to post a picture of it on Reddit. It makes you look like a fucking bomb pop. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about combining it to get that, but it might be worth it in the long run. Anyway, someone else on the Reddit, they are suggesting for the Legacy poll on Monday, have an option as, yes, I want Legacy, but it's not ready yet. That old chestnut. It's not ready yet.
I want that tattooed on me somewhere. It's not ready yet.
Yeah, update's not ready yet.
I love that.
I figured you would. Alright. Is skilling on one account and making money on another at the same time allowed?
I'll take this question because, I think it was last week, or maybe it was the weekend before, I talked about mod Mark Gerhard screwing up on Twitter, and now, the rules of the game have changed. And what he said was, somebody asked him a similar question, pretty much, and Mark Gerhard says, as long as you're, earning the money legitly, you can transfer the money all you want to, as long as you're not buying it. So, to simply answer his question, yes, you can absolutely do that, per Mark Gerhard. Now, the thing is it ethical? Absolutely not. It's an unfair advantage, but the game rules are the game rules. You can absolutely do it. It's like gambling. Gambling at the time, before the rule change, was completely allowed. And in fact, Jagex kind of shut down anybody who argued for or against it. Was it ethical? Absolutely not. And I feel like it's the same situation with this. It's just up to your own, how you play the game, I guess. Thank you.
Alright, next is this little question, or, well, it's more of a statement than a question, but let's see, it's titled 90% hit chance cap, currently in beta. So it was officially announced during the Legacy Q&A stream that the maximum accuracy on any target is 90% EOC. This means that you can that you always have a 10% chance at missing a target starting at level 1 defense. When testing Nex as solo and duo, I have found it highly luck-based to pass blood phase. Even as a duo, we had a hard time sometimes. Some of the times we could get 1 siphon, some of the times we would have a much harder time. 7 siphons was the most we had. Personally, I don't like this idea for PVM as it causes it to be completely luck-based. This was originally a suggestion from a player that Mod Pi said would only be for PvP, and that he didn't think the PVM community would enjoy this mechanic. He's very right in saying that, as most of the people on the beta are complaining about it. So
I remember when hit chance was way lower than 90%. Now, this might be before you were playing heavily, but it's about 5.5 years ago when I started playing. Like, the percentage was completely based on your attack level, and even like with 99 attack, I think it was a 60% chance. So you were still hitting a lot of zeros. Like, and there's nothing more annoying than hitting like 10 zeros in a row on something, and it's like red barred. And they eventually fixed that to the 90%, and that's what we had for a while. And then, of course, in EOC, you know, we hardly ever miss at all. It's always something. But there was a point in time where we had that similar situation, and that was actually up from the original 60%. So, I mean, going back to that percent base pre-EOC is kind of like what was already there. So if you want to play in Legacy, if Legacy is what you want pre-EOC, I feel like just saying Tough Titty said the kitty to you, but I mean, you want Legacy, and you should have all the bad stuff that was with pre-EOC, and I'm kind of like laughing under my breath about it. But you know, if that comes over to me as an EOC player, and then I have to deal with hitting zeros, I'm not going to be very happy about it. So, you know, if it's going to affect me, then yes, change it.
all right. Next person asks, can I buy only 1 day of RS membership with a bond? No, you cannot. Unfortunately,
just one day is all he wants.
Yeah, he just wants 1 day, and he did the math. And he was like, it would be like 475k or something. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. The bond is not just used for membership; it is used for other things. And if Jagex made like different bonds specifically for membership, it would just be a whole kerfuffle. It would be confusing.
Right.
And if there are more mods like Mod Raven, they don't feel like updating the code for it. So, yeah.
You know, we're not going to let him live that down. I feel like tweeting it right now.
No. Jesus. Why did you become a programmer if you don't like to write and fix I agree
with you, Matt, about the bond situation. But, like, I think it would be okay if there was some kind of way to get like a 24-hour membership thing somehow, like as a reward from like a free-to-play quest or something.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that would be okay. Yeah. Just 1 day somewhere wouldn't hurt. It'd probably be the best day of some people's lives.
Oh my God, I'm a member for 24 hours. Yeah, and I agree.
But here's a question for you. What if you only had 24 hours of members? What would you do?
I would probably cap.
Of course, that would be your answer.
But yeah, so I understand the desire for this as well, but bonds would not be the way to do it. It would be too confusing. So
can you imagine the effect on the economy if there was a free-to-play quest and the reward was 24 hours of membership? All these people would go in there and they would buy all these members items and they dance around for like 24 hours or do whatever, and then, you know, before it's up, they like go and rush and sell them really cheap. So we could get, you know, I think it's a good idea. Reward. Who agrees with me? Thank you.
But yes, on a serious note, it would be good to do something like this because the old trial that you got 14 days of membership whenever you started playing is of course gone now because it was being exploited by bots and exploited by people who were upgrading their citadels. But we won't talk about that. I don't know who did that. Jesus, those cheaters. Anyway, next person asks, where is the best place to use mining brawling gloves? So I just got some mining brawling gloves, and I was wondering where the best place would be to use them.
Oh, that's exciting.
Nice.
Well, the way brawlers work is, they multiply your XP. But if you go into the wilderness, they give you more XP, so you definitely want to use them in the wilderness. And what I'd recommend is taking advantage of the Hobgoblin mines. I think it's in level 30-some wilderness. Now that they've changed the wilderness numbers, I don't really remember, but it's on the way to the King Black Dragon if you're coming up from the wilderness ditch there. And just power mine some iron and adamant and drop it as you go. That'd be the best place, I think.
Yes. All right. Next is titled Combat Beta Legacy Feedback, Weapon Speed. I simply noticed that when using a weapon of a certain tier, it is advantageous to use the fastest weapon over a slower weapon every time. And you'll see the way the system works with abilities results in items of the same tier being able to push out the same DPM. In Legacy, when using a slower weapon, such as a Maul versus something like Claws, the DPM doesn't equal out. Previously, people used slow weapons due to them having higher attack bonuses, resulting in better accuracy. The current system is more or less tierscape, where all the weapons at the same tier have the same accuracy. Something needs to be fixed, as it makes people like me who bought a slow two-handed chaotic more or less useless compared to someone who bought Claws.
I have a perfect solution for him.
What's that?
Perfect solution. Use abilities. Honestly, if you're going to buy a slow weapon, and the only way to make it faster is based on your reaction time, I don't think, buffing it to be just as, the DPS, and I hate how he says DPM, but the same DPS is like Claws. You're going to end up devaluing the Claws, and it's going to be backwards. So I just feel like if you're going to use a slow weapon, that would be prime time for you to use abilities. It's just, some people are going to have to get over the fact that abilities make things better. Just, ugh. It's a simple solution. Don't change the game mechanics because you're too lazy to hit your buttons.
Yes. And children, do not type DPM into Google image search. Do not do it.
I'm going to go do that while you ask the next one. I want to see what happens.
Alright. Ninja request. Ninja, make it so you can use keypad numbers.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Yeah. Make it so you can use keypad numbers to enter.
Cannot be unseen.
I'm trying to read the word. Make it so you can use keypad numbers to enter your bank pin. So basically, what this person is wanting is when.
Oh no. That is what makes the bank pin a wonderful thing. If you got a keylogger and you're typing in your bank pin with your little keypad, what's going to happen? The keylogger is going to record your bank pin, you freaking moron. That is exactly why we use the mouse to punch in our bank pin and not your keypad. There's no way around that. Putting that in would be stupid. Absolutely no. Absolutely no. Where do these people come from? Do they not have any common sense or logic?
Alright, this next person asks, what should I wear to protect from Armadillo in God of War's dungeon? He's going to be maging. Well,
yeah.
In that case, there are many items. Armadillo, not so much. Ceradom and Zamorak, those are much easier to find an item. I would suggest if you are maging, maybe the Armadillo Mitre or whatever it's called.
The stole. Let's see. What I would wear if you're maging, and you don't have any. You can get the boots. The interesting thing about Armadillo boots or boots in general, they don't really affect anything. Like your boots and your helm don't make a difference with your offense staff is all defense. So you could easily wear like an Armadillo helmet or the Armadillo boots. Well, the gloves too are the same situation.
It's the actual
wear band braces or whatever.
Right. It's the actual cuirass or chain vest or whatever, and then the greaves or whatever.
Your legs and your body are going to affect your stats, so you don't want to wear any of that stuff. So if you're wearing the Zamorakian mage stuff, what is that called? Subjugation. You could throw on some Armadillo boots and bandos, band braces, or whatever to protect you from everything in there. But That'd be your best bet, those slots. So that way, you throw on like a Zami arrow and a holy necklace, and there you
Yep.
go. So your boots, gloves, that'd be the best slot to fill with that.
Some other suggestions were the Armadillo Pendant, the Armadillo Cloak. Also, if you complete Fate of the Gods, you can get the Shard of Zeros, and that will take care of all your problems.
Well, that's why I didn't really say anything about the cloak or the necklace, because those things kind of do affect your stats a little bit.
Right.
And they give you kind of like offensive stat bonuses, so you might want to wear like a Fury or, one of the Dungeoneering amulets in that place, or even the Holy Symbol gives you a little bit of prayer bonus, you could go with the Stole, it has a prayer bonus too. But I wouldn't mess with the cape. Or your steel cape, bro.
Mm-hmm. But again, if you have 75 div, if you can do Fate of the Gods, the Shard of Zeros will fix
amazing. That fixes all your problems. You can go in there butt naked with that on, and you'll be perfectly protected from STDs.
Pretty much. Well,
it's like the God Wars Dungeon condom.
I don't know about from STDs. Those goblins get around.
Oh dear.
So, yeah. Anyway, what is the fastest XP for combat? I have 21.6 mil defense XP until I get my 120 cape, and truly I don't know what the best XP is for combat, since I really only ever do Slayer.
It's like 800 and some K per hour at like barraging Dagonos. I think that's the fastest combat XP in the game right now.
Yes.
And back in the day, it was doing that at like abyssal creatures in the abyss with like chins or barrage. That was the fastest, but Dagonos, water birth are right now.
Do it.
Yes.
All right. The next person is asking the Ninja Team if we can have a toggle option for the Dungeoneering shop. Would it be too much to be able to hide items when I look in the Dungeoneering shop, such as chaotic rapiers? I already bought them. I don't want them in the shop. Just a toggle option to see them, in case I ever need to buy one again. There are a lot of items to buy with Dungeoneering tokens, and some items, once you buy them, are permanent, and you can never benefit from buying them again, such as scrolls.
I completely agree with him. Like, I go in there, and I see the scrolls on there, and I keep thinking, did I buy these, or did I not? And you don't really know if you did or you didn't until you try to buy them, so a toggle option for that will be handy, especially when it comes to the scrolls, so I think that's a brilliant suggestion.
Yes, and then his final point was, I just think a person with high level Dungeoneering level doesn't want to see all the items he or she has already bought.
Right.
So, yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the Reddits.
Good job. So, Matt, what's the topic?
Huh?
What's the topic for the next 2 minutes?
Wait,
I'll let you take this one.
Wait, did we come up with one?
Put Matt on the spot. Let's see if he can deal with the pressure.
Alright, so basically what you're telling me is, we did not...
The topic is talking about the lack of topic.
Oh! Well, this is interesting.
You could lead the conversation.
Right. Oh, wow, this is odd. Well, anyway, might as well start off with a connecting thing here. So yeah, before the show, usually we try to come up with a topic, and my role is to throw out stupid and horrible ideas because for some reason that's what comes out. And then Satya somehow comes up with the topic. That did not happen tonight. I was throwing out ideas. I was doing this. I was doing that. But I guess we did not come up with one. So yeah. Although what I did one thing I did say when we were trying to come up with the topic was Satya and I were talking, and we were talking about Slayer and how just the idea of doing Slayer, we do it for the skill, to get it up. We do it for monsters. And it's a fun skill to do. I myself was slow to warm to it, but eventually pardon me again. Oh dear, I got burps. I eventually warmed up to it, and I eventually uh, became accustomed to the rewards it gives and things like that, and it is a very nice skill. However, also, it is probably the most consistent and in the long run best way to make money in the game. Now, you all are probably like, what the hell are you talking about? I want to go to Nex, or I want to go to the KK, and I want to get bank drops, the kind of drops that make my coin purse swell. Well, guess what? You can do that, and you can sit there for hours upon hours upon hours, unless you just happen to be lucky, unless you just happen to have the blind luck, which I don't believe in luck, so it's funny I'm saying that, to get a drop of that magnitude. It was on the clan page this week. Duke, or Bill, he's said he's easily killed the Calphite King 40 times, both splitting and not splitting, and he's never experienced a Dragor drop while he's there, and then the other day he finally got one, and he's said he's estimated that he's done KK like 400 kills or so. Whereas when you do Slayer, the consistency of it, what you're doing, the items that you are getting, it's much steadier GP over time. Now, again, it's not massive amounts of income immediately, and it does take more work. But in the long run, when you think about it, you are saving money. You see, when you go on a boss trip, you are spending money on overloads, restores, tabs, food. If you are on the newbier side, a sign of life, a ring of life, a phoenix necklace. These things, you can easily spend $1 million on a boss trip. Any boss trip if you're newbie, and then if you're a higher level on a high level boss, because you're going to be also taking beasts of burden. If you are high level, pack yaks. So in the long run, you have spent this money on the boss trip, and you could very well not make the GP back. So you're losing GP by going and bossing, which again, I'm not trying to down bossing. Bossing is part of the game. Bossing is part of life for some clans in the game, some people in the game who have PVM next to their names, but really, in reality, they are not good at PVM. And then like people who have PvP in their names, they're not very good at PvP. So it's just, yeah. you don't find as much of a reward in the long term by going and bossing.
Well, here's the problem I have with the boss camping, is what you're really referring to.
Thank
is
you.
that bosses are meant for, like, that once in a while excitement thing, something different from the usual, routine of things. And so that's where I think the balance is important. Like, you do Slayer all the time, you get your steady income, and then you might get on a whim where you want to go, for a boss a day or two, and then you go back to Slayer, and that keeps things new and different. But if you're one of those people, you're bossing all the time, eventually that boss becomes old news, and you lose interest, and you sit around praying that Jagged's going to make a new boss for you, so you're really just wearing yourself out if you think about it.
Yeah, and you have a point there. Bosses are really made for like group activity. I'm pretty sure bosses predated clans, but bosses are great clan events. Even if it's not a clan thing, your group of friends, you're going to go bossing with them. Now, yes, soloing bosses is a thing now, but whenever bosses were made in mind, they were made in mind for people to go to them in groups, for it to be a social activity. Now, yes, with Slayer we have co-op Slayer, but that's only 2 people, so you're either soloing or co-oping. Bossing was made, I think, as a more social activity, like Satya said, to kind of get away from the normalcy of going around killing some monsters for Slayer, or going around skilling or doing quests. So, if anything, bosses were the first distraction and diversion in the game, and yeah, you can get good money when you get a drop. Like Sat used the term, which was eluding me, camping bosses. But you can also make good money by camping certain monsters in the game for like when you're doing a Slayer task, or even not when you're doing a Slayer task. You can make steady gold off of camping frost dragons. You don't even need a Slayer task for that. You need 85 dungeoneering, but again, that's another way you can make consistent money, so you don't have to go to a boss and cross your fingers, and you're doing this all the time. There are some people who just happen to get a shitload of drops like on the daily, and some of us happen to hate those people. But our hatred will not do anything to curb that from happening. So doing Slayer gives you a consistent source of GP, and if in case you were a noob like I was, believe it or not, I was
What do you mean
noobier.
was?
I was gonna say, believe it or not, at one point I was noobier than I am now. I was a super noob, and one day I legit asked Satya, "You're talking about how Slayer makes you money. How exactly do you make the money from Slayer? From the drops, you dingbat." So if you're gonna be doing Slayer, you noobs, please pick up your drops. That's how you make the money. I was doing Slayer for a while, and I wasn't picking up the money making drops.
You know what irks me the most is I'm doing Slayer, and there's other people there, like a noob, and they're like a mid-level gear, and they don't pick up their coin drops. That drives me crazy.
Right. As a noob, you need every single coin you can get.
When I first started out, I picked up every single herb, every single gem, every single steel dagger, and I ran to the bank every 5 seconds, and I made so much money doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, it's annoying to, go to a bank and it takes like a minute or 2 out of your time. It makes your Slayer task last about 10 minutes longer.
Yeah.
In the long run, if you did pick up everything, you'd make a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, but when you're slaying, if you're a noob, if for some reason a high level is there,
pick up their drops. Yes.
Scav off the fucking high level.
I still do that, and I'm not a noob.
But
you don't know how excited I am when I look over and I see a sapphire laying there.
It's sparkly.
Get a gem bag while you can, people.
That's right. So, scav the items that other people don't want. That's another great way of making money as a noob.
On my range pure, you know what I did? When I first started it and I needed money, I went to the desert strike worms on a busy world where high levels, power slay. Mm-hmm. And I literally made like $500,000 an hour just picking up his drops. It was amazing.
Yes. Also, you could as a noob, you could go kill cows for 500K an hour. You could go kill cockroach soldiers for last I knew they were about $1 million an hour. So you could go do that, but why not just walk around and follow a Fr00b and just pick up their shit? Why the hell didn't you ever let me do that?
If you can get the Slayer level to get in the Curadel's cavern, just hang out with the steel dragons. Literally, lots of Fr00bs go in there and don't even bother to pick up their rune items or their dragon bones. You can make a ton of money.
They're just there. They just want to get their task over with.
They're just trying. All they care about is maxing and getting the XP and getting out of there. You can make so much money from scavenging.
Yes, and if you do have some money, buy some fucking magic notepaper. Go in there with your magic notepaper. And pick up those.
Steel bars are worth more than magic notepaper, so.
Oh, that's true.
You can make a ton. Anyway, It's all good information.
It is
But
very. Oh dear.
there's the bomb. Why don't you take us out of here, Matt?
Alrighty. Thank you very much for tuning in. We would like to thank the following people that I cannot see because the picture never showed up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. We would like to thank AEM Radio, Gamer Girl Radio. We would also like to thank Awesomeness TV for being our sponsor. We would like to thank the Barbarians clan, and finally, we would like to thank Jagex for not suing the fuck out of us.
Yes. Good job.
Thank you.
And who are you? And who are we?
Oh, that's right. Well, we are the Noob and Fr00b show, but I particularly am the noob Machu.
And I am that bear, aka Satya, and tune in again next Saturday, and I love you, and goodbye. Mwah, bye!
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.